Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Millionaire Gaming. So, today, I have a special guest. You know him. You love him. Say your name.
Hey, it's Skizap, and we're back at it again with another video. Today it's a good one for you.
Yeah, it definitely is it's definitely a good one. It's been a while since we did a collaboration together, of course. So, today we're doing the Tony Hawk's worst to best soundtracks. And yeah, this is going to be amazing. So, with further ado, let's get this shit started. And starting off with number 15, we are talking about Tony Hawk's Motion for the DS. Honestly, this soundtrack sucks. It is the worst.
The soundtrack was a piece of shit.
It really is. It's really bad.
There was no lyrics to anything.
It honestly is just really shitty techno music, and it's a whole 7 minutes. That's how long it is, and honestly, the game in general is terrible.
Yeah, so no soundtrack was even able to make this game a bit better.
Not at all. And they just ruined it by adding this really proprietary controls, and unfortunately it's not good. It's really bad. It's terrible. Honestly, it's one of the worst games, especially for the handhelds, for the Tony Hawk series in general.
Exactly.
And then we have frickin' the hue color thing, which was a lot better than the actual game itself, which is really sad compared to how the actual game is.
Yeah.
So we got a shitty techno music and a shitty game. Not a good combination.
Definitely not. Starting number 14 off with another bad game and another kind of bad soundtrack. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Bands such as Royal Blood, Cold Cave, and Death from Above, 1979.
Honestly, that they could have put so many other great songs from them, but it's just
the only ones we can. Those are the only ones we can mention. I hate to cut you off, by the way. Those are the only ones we can mention because there's no other good stuff in that game.
it just has a bunch of junky rap, and then they include two rap artists that you can skate as, Tyler the Creator and Lil Wayne. You would think, because they're in the game, you would actually think they want to put their music in it, but no, they absolutely didn't. They didn't even put Tyler the Creator's Cherry Bomb album in there, which is weird.
They were trying to promote it by putting him as a playable character and putting the Cherry Bomb guy, demon, whatever, creature, the Cherry Bomb creature as a playable character as well, as a variant of Tyler the Creator. So you'd think at least one song off of Cherry Bomb would be in there, but Robomoto's lazy asses didn't want to do it. I'm surprised they paid $10 for it.
Dude, I paid $8, and honestly, I could have bought so much more things with that $8.
You could have bought a slice of pizza, man.
I could have bought 4 monsters with that.
Exactly. But no, you wasted on this turd.
And it's very unfortunate that I had to waste it on this turd. The game doesn't even work well anymore. It is absolutely terrible. It still sucks. There's people still playing it, which is really weird. People still play it, and it baffles me. It really does.
Maybe they play it to hear that, to hear just the little opening sequence screen. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows, dude? All I know is it's crap. It's ass.
Overall, bad soundtrack, bad game. So once again, soundtrack wasn't even able to make the game better.
Nope. And number 13, we've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD. I never got to play this game on the consoles, which was on the PS3 or Xbox 360. Personally, I had to play it on the PC, which sucked. Even if you had the strongest PC in the world, you cannot play it. Even though it has some of the songs from the first game, it included some extra ones which were really crap, besides like Pigeon John, as well as the Metallica song All Nightmare Long. But you have to get a DLC in order to play that song, which is really stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, they want $10 from you to play that song. It's crazy.
Yeah, and honestly, the DLC wasn't even that good. I mean, you get 3 levels, 4 characters, and a song, and you would think you would get more stuff, but you really don't. That's pretty much it. That's what you really get for.
And I don't even think you can get the DLC anymore because the game got taken off of the Steam store. I know you can go on G2A and get a code for it, but I don't know about the DLC. So All Nightmare Long might not even be available anymore to people who don't have it.
Yeah, probably not. Especially because, like, the Revert was just a shit DLC. They could have put anything else, and they put this asinine crap. It is just shit. Like, honestly...
The game was shit already just because of Robomoto being the company to take a hold of it.
Honestly, it sucks, and especially because, like, even if you have a good computer, I was playing on my laptop when I was really young, and then when I got this computer, it made it feel like shit. It's hard to describe. It just does not work. It's terrible.
The game is just terrible in general.
It's unfortunate.
Terrible, so unfortunately, you know, once again, soundtrack couldn't pull through with a bad game.
Sorry, Robomoto, you suck at making games. And on to number 12, we've got Tony Hawk Shred for the 360 as well as PS3 and the Wii. Unfortunately, I don't have footage for it because I never bought the game in myself, but this one consists of Devo, the Beach Boys, Iggy Pop, as well as the Stooges. Honestly, they had really good groups in it, but personally, the choices of music were kind of crappy, in my opinion. What about you, man?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that 110%. There was definitely some crappy stuff in there, and should never have made it past anybody. Like, some of these songs are just like, I look at it and I'm like, huh. Yeah, made it through, okay. I don't know who actually jams out to that. But the other thing is, the good groups that are in there, you don't even really hear the songs either way because you're too busy trying to make that piece of shit board work.
Yeah, dude, and you know people are actually still buying that board to this day, and it's so bad. Like, I've never played it myself. I can't judge it hard, but...
I played it on the Wii. I played it on the Wii, and it was the biggest, most defective piece of shit I've ever stepped on.
I mean, how much did you pay for it when you got it?
I bought it brand new. I forgot how much it was, but I bought it like when it came out.
Oh man, that
20 years ago.
That was
a young boy too, so it was even harder for me to comprehend how to work that thing.
Yeah, dude, I really don't know. That game was just crap.
I mean, the board was a piece of junk when I first got it, you know? It's like, some things, they get crappy over time. That thing was crappy since day one.
Honestly, it's like you're getting a crappy game with skateboarding and snowboarding. They could have implemented it in a lot of better style for it, but they give you this, which was terrible.
Exactly.
Shake my head.
Okay. For Connor's favorite game of all time, Downhill Jam.
It is not my favorite, so screw off on that one.
With bands like Iron Maiden, Motorhead, Public Enemy, and White Zombie, has a lot of fast-paced music, but some is in poor taste. And you know, the fast pace does help with the fast pace of the game, but you know,
I played Downhill Jam. I played it on the DS. You know, for that game, it actually had a story. What?
And you loved it. It was your favorite one.
It was not my favorite. I absolutely despised it. Because, okay, it's not as bad as Motion, but I don't really care for it. But in my opinion, I mean, it had some good music. It had Iron Maiden. It had Motorhead. It also even had Pierce the Veil, I think. Didn't they have Pierce the Veil in it? Or one of those games? I cannot remember off of hand.
Maybe.
But honestly, it definitely matched well for the fast-paced downhill style. I never played it on the actual consoles like the PS2 or Wii, unfortunately, because I was never able to, you know, afford that kind of shit. But it had poor taste in some things, which is unfortunate. But overall, it wasn't a horrible game, but it definitely was a hit or miss for me.
Yeah, definitely. Soundtrack was okay, but not the best.
And now on to our next one, which is very shocking to people, but it's going to be a very controversial one to us. And on number 10, we have Tony Hawk's American Wastelands, one of the fan favorites, in my opinion. I love the game, though it does have a good music selection. It really did. but there's just too many covers in it. Just, I don't know why. They had too many covers of songs that could have been from the original creators, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they even had a Black Flag cover, which I didn't get because they had an actual song by Black Flag, and they should have just gotten the rights to do that too.
Yeah, I never really understood why they put so many covers. Like, they had so many good groups besides not even covers. They had the Dead Kennedys, as well as more Public Enemy. They had the Doors, Frank Black from the Pixies, or when he was doing his solo stuff, just going by Black Francis. And then there was also the Scissor Sisters, as well as a lot of Tommy Guaro, as well as like some other groups like Felix the Cat, and many other groups. But personally, they kind of ruined it for me for the covers, for especially when they were doing like Census Fail, when they were doing freaking Suicidal Tendencies, and then they were doing My Chemical Romance for Misfits. And Misfits is good in its own. I like My Chem, but not when they're covering something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get completely what you're saying.
It's very unfortunate that this definitely had more covers than actual like music, especially because like
they had really good bands and really good songs too, and I really don't know why they didn't capitalize on getting the actual rights from the original artists, because it would have just made the soundtrack a lot better. I mean, the punk songs, a lot of punk songs are in this game, and it fits the punk vibe, but I wish they had the original bands.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that, and it's very disappointing. But people are gonna be like, this is the best one, but in our opinion, wasn't that great.
Well, when we say our best one, they're gonna be like, oh, true.
Yeah, they're gonna agree. And on to number 9, we are doing Project 8. This one is on the previous gen as well as the next gen stuff, not PS4 or Xbox One, unfortunately. But this one is a fan favorite. It is also one of my favorite ones too, because this one is definitely one I grew up with. I remember freaking playing it with the strong set list of Sonic Youth, the Ramones, Primus, the Transplants, Joy Division, Kasabian, Danzig, and Slayer. I do definitely have to say they have a very strong set list, but sometimes it definitely failed to appeal to everyone. There was really good songs, but they were very covered by the shittier ones, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, most good songs end up becoming covered by really bad ones because there's so many songs in the game. But it had good bands, like a few of my favorite bands like Sonic Youth, Primus, and Joy Division, and the Ramones, and Danzig, and Slayer. There's some good ones, and there's also Transplants. Did I already say that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
No, I didn't know if I already said Transplants.
I don't know. And then, yeah, I mean, there was other groups. I mean, these ones that always, like, caught my eye. I mean, they had Gnarls Barkley. They had that one song that everybody likes, Punk Rock Girl. I don't know who it is, but they always played it. And personally, it wasn't, like, my favorite. I mean, whenever it played, okay. And then it was, like, some other groups, nothing, like, that caught my eye. But definitely, it's definitely a fun game. I love the ragdoll physics to that game. It just was one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you, it was definitely difficult to play the actual, like, the 360 version compared to, like, the PlayStation 2 version of that game. Just in general, because it's more difficult on the next gen than the previous gen. And I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I still like it. It's still good to this day.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one. One of my favorite games. This is legitimately one of Millionaire's favorite games as well. Proving Ground. It's got my favorite band of all time, Nirvana, in it. It's also got the Beastie Boys and exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I'm sure there's another way of saying that the fans of that group know, but I remember, I know a few of their songs and I really like them. It's got Foo Fighters. It's obviously got Rolling Stones. There's that big Rolling Stones poster in the Create a Skater menu.
Yeah, very true.
My phone that just fell. And the Clash.
If he didn't hear it, he said Pierce the Veil, which I thought was in Downhill Jam, but I sadly was mistaken. But this one definitely is a very underrated game, a very underrated soundtrack at that. But some of the hip hop selection was very dull, in my opinion. Even though it was very, like, I don't know how to say it. It was definitely, it fit to that era, but it definitely was very underrated. And I think a lot of people didn't like it because two things. Because of the environment of how it went, and of course they were fighting against EA Skate.
Yeah. That's what kind of caused some problems.
Like when they were doing the environment, it's kind of dull. It's very dark. It's very gray. It's very rainy. So it's not like the best thing. I always thought it was like in Seattle, Washington, when it's really in DC, Baltimore, as well as PA. So you would think, being in those tri-state areas, you would think there would be more sunlight, but it sadly is not.
Tip for everybody: if you want to make your game look less darker, just put it up to 100 brightness. I know it looks bright, but it's a lot better because it kind of makes the gloominess look a bit brighter. But I think the soundtrack for the game was really good though.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of Skate, we are going to do a Skate soundtrack video one of these days of all 3 games, and then we'll make one separately for the 4th whenever that comes out.
Oh yeah, dude, definitely. That's a definitely an anticipated thing for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, this game is very underrated. It's still good in its own way. It definitely does not hold up to today's standards because there's nobody that plays online, unfortunately. But in general, if you're gonna play it like a solo thing, it's fun to play.
Yeah, definitely.
And we are on to number 7, which is Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Another fan favorite and a personal favorite of mine because, Thug Pro, as well as, the Thug 2 in general game, like the story mode, the free skate, the characters, and as well as the soundtrack, consisting of Melvins, X, Rancid, Metallica, Frank Sinatra, Johnny Cash, Ween, more Joy Division, Mike V, and the Rats, and many other groups. Very strong rock selection in this one, but it could have been better in another game. But it does have a really poor rap selection. Some people prefer rap more than rock, honestly.
I like the Melvins being in the game.
Oh yeah.
I think the problem is that they were trying to go for too much of a jackass appeal to this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that they did it towards a jackass feel more than a actual like Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
Especially because like if they're gonna continue it on from Underground to Underground 2, unfortunately it didn't do it because you know how the protagonist on the first game, he was very like more. It's weird to explain it. He was definitely not as calm as the other one. He had more feeling and more like flair to him. And then on this one, he's more calm and timid.
I guess that's what being pro does. Maybe that's the game's trying to tell us something.
Yeah, and then we have Eric Sparrow, but he lost his fame in Underground 2, so that's probably his demise on that one.
Number 6, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. My favorite Tony Hawk game of all time. I am extremely excited to list off the songs, bands from this game, because there's a lot of notable ones such as Agent Orange, AC/DC, Gangstar, Muska Beats, Offspring, Run DMC, the Sex Pistols, and SOD, otherwise known as System of a Down.
Honestly, this game, dude.
Yeah.
It's childhood stuff. It's definitely memories. Good memories, that is.
I mean, it fits the era of skateboarding, but there is one downside to the soundtrack, but we didn't put it higher on which actually no, it is the reason why it's a little higher on the list actually. Because the PS1 copies are lacking a few songs.
It definitely ruins the quality of the games in itself, which is unfortunate. But the one for the PlayStation 2 as well as the Xbox and PC make it so much better because they include a lot more things, and they include motherfucking Eddie from Iron Maiden, and he is in that game,
Yeah.
as well as their music's in it too.
I mean, how the hell are you gonna not have Iron motherfucking Maiden in a game without putting Eddie as a skatable character? I mean, they have before, because Iron Maiden's been in games without Eddie being a playable character, but still, it is really cool to be able to play as Eddie. I just wish you could have more outfits for him. But then again, I don't think any skater had different outfits, so that's probably why.
Yeah, that's pretty much the truth, because I mean, you've seen the custom skaters, and well, with the custom skaters you could like edit their clothes and stuff. I never really did that, which is really weird to me. And then like you get your secret skaters, which were like Django Fett, as well as Daisy, Mike Vallely, and Eddie, as well as, what was there, another person? I cannot remember offhand. But oh, and then I think it was, I can't remember. Huh. It's gonna baffle me because I cannot remember. But in general, I remember playing that game so much to this day. I remember playing it for hours and hours on end, remembering all the cheat codes, remembering all the stupid dialogue, and remembering the opening song for the game, freaking TNT by AC/DC. Oh, dude, memories right there.
Oh yeah, dude, definitely. Good memories there. Good memories there.
And we are on number 5, which is Pro Skater 3. This one is also a good one. I really remember this one too. Remembering when I was 15 getting this game, it was cool to get this. So yeah, it definitely was a good game. It had good characters, good levels, and had a good soundtrack consisting of AFI, Outcast, Sum 41, Pennywise, Papa Roach, as well as Drowning Pool, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, as well as Red Hot Chili Peppers, and many other great groups like Guttermouth and some other ones, and CKY, because we can never forget CKY. I remember playing this game for hours on end, remembering all the cheat codes that you could do on this game, which was really cool. But the downfall to this one for me was definitely because of the short soundtrack, but it is very enjoyable, but it is very inferior to Pro Skater 1 and 2, so that might be the downfall for this one.
I mean, it was still a good soundtrack for me as well. I liked it. I think the nostalgia also comes with this game's soundtracks as well, and this is definitely one of those games where you can hear a few songs, you just go back to those days when you were younger playing them and stuff like that, and it's really good to remember. And I'll relate to that the most once we get to number 1, because all those songs from number 1, I'm gonna remember it if I ever go back and play that game soon.
Yeah, dude. The only thing that I have to say for this one, it definitely lacked when it was on the PlayStation 1 port, because they heavily censored a lot of their music, and it was, and they drastically changed some of the levels, but that's not a big thing.
That was that kind of sucked, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good in my opinion. Never a bad thing, you know? And on to number 4, we got Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake. You know, this game came out this year, and I'm very surprised. I am very happy about this game. I really was. I was very happy when this game came out. How about you, Skizap? How would you feel about this game?
I was really happy about this game too. When I first heard it was coming out, I was like, oh yeah, it's coming.
Dude, I remember getting so many like messages when this game actually came out, and like it was blowing up my phone while I was at work, and it was it was one of the weirdest experiences, because I was like, oh fuck, maybe it's I thought this was a joke, but it actually turned out to be the truth. And
because I thought they sucked their company off to Robomoto for the rest of
Thankfully,
You know,
they did not. They actually went back to Activision and did freaking Vicarious Visions. So this one consisting of really good groups from the Pro Skater 1 and 2 stuff, consisting of the Dead Kennedys, Goldfinger, Primus, Suicidal Tendencies, Anthrax, Public Enemy, Powerman 5000, as well as some of the newer stuff from like nowadays stuff like Machine Gun Kelly, as well as Tribe Called Quest. Though the new songs are kind of shitty, but the soundtrack from the first and second game definitely helps this game out too.
having the old stuff back is what really made this good, and it made it nostalgic for people. Even though the game just came out, you could already get that nostalgic feel.
Who was your go-to skater when you were playing that game, man?
Rodney Mullen.
I definitely liked Rodney Mullen. I liked how they also added some new skaters who weren't like overrated ones. I mean, there was a few, but nothing that's gonna complain or ruin the game.
Nigel Houston.
Yeah, I know. But it's still a good game, honestly.
I definitely like Create a Skater being in the original 2 games now, technically.
Yeah, technically.
That was really good. I'm glad that they did that, because they could have just been lazy and was like, well, you know, in the original game that wasn't a thing, so we didn't do it. But they did. So I'm really happy with that.
Me too.
On to number 3, which is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. Bands like Dead Kennedys, Vandals, Evinrude, The Ernies, and Speed Dealer. It's a short soundtrack, but it holds up to 2020 standards, and a great way to start off the franchise with some great songs. There's a few that I didn't mention because we just previously mentioned them on the last one, but great soundtrack. Very beautiful soundtrack for a really, well,
for a great start for a video game, honestly, in my opinion.
yeah, the game wasn't that beautiful, if you would say. I mean, it's really polygon, right? But you know,
Even if it was polygon, it was still a great way to start a franchise.
It was a great first game and a great way to start off.
I liked the freaking advertisements for those things like Tech Decks, as well as Mountain Dew and freaking Taco Bell and stuff. Those were really cool that they actually put that stuff in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it still has one of the worst levels in there, freaking Downhill Jam, which is actually kind of good in Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake, which is really weird.
Yeah, Downhill Jam was really good in the remake. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like HD and Pro Skater 1, as well as like the other ones, they screwed it up so bad.
Definitely.
That was it was horrible, dude. Horrible. And on to number 2, the penultimate of our worst to best soundtrack of Tony Hawk games. We are talking about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Honestly, this game is definitely iconic, especially for Guar Radio playing as the intro, as well as many other great groups in this game, with Rage Against the Machine, Melancholy, Naughty by Nature, Dub Pistols, Bad Religion, as well as Fu Manchu. It's not as good as Pro Skater 1, but it definitely holds up to today's standards and continued to be a good game to start off the franchise with. What did you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. Great way to continue the franchise. And I mean, the soundtrack did a little better. Just kinda. You know, I wouldn't say it was like extremely better than Pro Skater 1, but it had a bit more to it. It was a bit more lengthier. And I think that's kind of what made it a bit better, because you wouldn't hear the same songs as much when you're skating. So yeah, that's definitely something good about having more songs, is not hearing the same ones over and over again where you get tired of them. And it's good.
Oh yeah. If you're guys wondering, yes, this includes as Pro Skater 2X as well, because it's the same game, it's just remastered, and it's pretty much Pro Skater 2 on a better engine and better graphics on Xbox, which is still cool, don't get me wrong. It comes with extra stuff, but nothing that's gonna like be like #1 spot, but it definitely does have a good soundtrack as well as graphic wise, and just in general. That was the start of Rodney Mullen being in the Tony Hawk games.
Yeah.
And on to #1, our best of the best Tony Hawk's soundtracks. Jared, do you want to say what it is?
Sure. Tony Hawk's Underground. One of the best Tony Hawk games, probably the best Tony Hawk game, and has the best soundtrack with bands such as Sublime, NoFX, The Clash, Kiss. You can fucking play as Gene Simmons in this game as well. And all the other Kiss members if you do all the gaps, I think.
Yeah, it's all the gaps. As well as Jurassic 5, Nos, Jane's Addiction,
Juggernauts,
Queens of the Stone Age, DJ Qbert, Deltron 3030, Bus Driver, Mastodon, Dropkick Murphys, Social Distortion, and unlike Pro Skater 5, as what Skizap just said, you could actually play as Gene Simmons, as well as Iron Man, as well as Chud, as well as many other groups and characters on this game. And it has the liking of every kind of music for everyone's taste. It has a great soundtrack, and it definitely helped utilize. It was perfect for the era. It was just it's honestly a masterpiece in my opinion.
It was a great game, yes.
I definitely agree. Even if they implemented driving, which, I mean, sometimes it didn't work well, but it definitely held up very well in today's standards. This Tony Hawk game is one of my favorites. I remember it fondly, as well as listening to such great songs, as well as the creative parks, as well as the cutscenes. Yeah, it just definitely hits home for me, you know? It really does.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
So, with that, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you, Skizap, for always helping me with these videos, man. I truly appreciate it. I mean, it seems it seems like forever we don't collab often. I mean, the last time we collabed, we did that video.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for having me on here, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man.
It's fun being on here.
Yeah, no problem, man. But definitely, when the time comes, and we're making the skate video, definitely check it on his channel, because we're going to do it on my channel, and then we're going to do it on his channel. So with that, definitely. I'm the shit.
And I'm Skizap.
You've been watching Millionaire Gaming.
Exactly. Come over to my channel if there's anything you guys want to see on there. I don't have really good content, but it's alright.
And yeah, if we get this out before Halloween, happy Halloween, guys.
Halloween, guys.
Peace.
Peace.